2 months ago. Dita's pizza parlor was across the street from the hospital. At the moment, the largest table was taken up by two extra large supremes, a couple of pitchers of Coke, 8 teenage girls, and then grabbed a slice. Posey took a drink from her beer and asked, "Where do you want me to start, sweetie?" "The shift, Mom," Flashlight said simply, "and start from the beginning." "Okay. You know that Red Heart and I have been friends since medical school, right?" Flashlight nodded. "Well, your father and I met when Red and I went to a concert at the Irving Meadows Amphitheater. We won backstage passes that night and went. Honestly, I didn't know what to expect. Was I going to be treated like some groupie, ending up stoned, drunk, and with my pants off in his bed? I was going to be given the kid gloves treatment. The truth was, neither. "Neither?" Sunset asked. Posey shook her head. The concert itself, it was great. Watching him and the band on stage, this was the classic lineup with him, T-Rex, Screws, and Steel Strings. They rocked hard, and even before everything, I was a fan. So it was a shock to see the wild, deliriously silly, and happy Discord walk off stage. I turned into probably the saddest man I ever met. Don't get me wrong. He was polite, shook our hands, signed some autographs, and walked to his dressing room. Screws was with her fiancé, so I didn't get to meet with her then. And this was just before Steel Strings was kicked out of the band for excessive drug use, so he was already as high as a kite. But it was T-Rex who made the most impact. "Wait, aren't Discord and T-Rex rivals he quit to form the ECI?" Sunset. Posey laughed. "Nothing but record company posturing. They wanted to give T-Rex an edge, so that's why. In truth, he and Discord had been best friends since they first met. In any case, T-Rex pulled us aside and took us to the staff cafeteria, where he sat down for some coffee. He told us that happy, crazy Discord, a man who even then was considered one of the new gods of rock, was completely and utterly dilated in. That was he tired and lonely until he left performing. He was still, after all these years, nursing a broken heart after the one that got away." "Celestia," Twilight spoke as if on cue. "Miss Celestia?" Flashlight and Sunset and Rarity said at the same time. "Yeah," Arya said. "She and Aunt Velvet were talking about it one day when we were working on our homework, and we overheard. They used to be an item, but for some reason didn't really pan out." "I guess that explains the awkward meetings she and I had your freshman year, sweetie," Posey told Fluttershy. "I just thought it was one of those natural dislike issues people have from time to time. But I guess you must have found it out and put two and two together. I suppose that also explains why she tended to keep tabs on you more than the average student. Because unless she's that involved in all her students' lives like that. But again, I'm digressing. Anyway, T-Rex apologized for Discord, but pointing out that it had been the anniversary of the day he'd broken up with her. Well, and now I know Celestia, and he forced himself to go on stage. He offered to give us tickets for the next venue along with others to make up for it. Red took him up on that, but I couldn't. So ignoring what was probably my better judgment, I ran downstairs and stormed to the Discord's dressing room, where he was playing with a silver pistol and tears streaming down his cheeks. Fearing the worst, this was the month that the flaming burrito committed suicide with a gun in his hotel room in Vegas. I knocked it out of his hand and hugged him as hard as I could, saying he wasn't alone. That I wanted the way to end it, that I wouldn't let him end himself like that. I could feel his tears soaking my shirt. That night he let everything go. All his pain, his heartbreak, all his loss. For a crazy medical student who knocked a pistol-shaped lighter out of his hands. "A lighter?" Flashlight asked. "Yes, a lighter." When he realized how it looked, he couldn't apologize enough. Posey answered. That night I slept with him. And no, don't get any wrong ideas. We had a late dinner that night, then went to his hotel room and talked into the wee hours. He apparently really needed to talk. By the time he was done airing everything out, we both crashed on the Emperor-sized bed in his penthouse suite. The following morning, we had breakfast in bed, and I skipped classes talking to him all day. We then stuck out of the hotel. It was his last day in town before he was scheduled to play in Phoenix, and went to the movies. After that, he had the limo drop me off at the apartment me and Red lived and saw me off. For the rest of the year, we kept in touch via email, or he would call me. You laughed and you thought how many others thought I was dating a guy named Disco Red. By the time he came back, I already started my internship at UC in Irvine Medical. He strode on in, making a big show in the emergency room, then parked right in front of the desk with the biggest bouquet I'd ever seen. And because this guard was being discarded, the bouquet was nothing but dandelions. Common flowers that are often considered nothing more than weeds. The smile on her face was wide as she added, a bouquet about the diameter of a telephone pole, made of nothing but forest-gray dandelions. To this day, I had no idea how he pulled it off, but as I came in, he formally asked me for a date. And of course I said yes. The year constant talking to each other had tied us together enough to set a spark, but it was then it became a fire. Verity sighed. Oh, that was very romantic, Doctor. The next few years were great. We lived in his mansion in Corona del Mar, and I commuted to and fro while he recorded some more music. Eventually, Steel Streets was bounced out of the band and replaced by Stu Strummer. Eventually, at the Imperial Lake of another tour, I joined him in Monaco, where he proposed to me. We then married a year later, and that's when everything went wrong. Went wrong? Posey nodded. You were everything he always wanted, Fluttershy, her mother told her. He loved you from the moment he found out I was pregnant and never let go. You didn't want to. To him, you and your angel were his life. You remember those moments, don't you? First I said nothing, but instead recalled everything. The father who would, out of the blue, decide to make a cake for his precious daughter at 4 in the morning. The dad who used to take her on long walks in the fields, pointing out the various kinds of butterflies. The parent that would, despite his wife's profession, insist on taking care of Fluttershy's cats and scrapes, kissing them to make him feel better. Everything that Fluttershy remembered about her father in the past was nothing but pleasant memories. But that was the problem. It was in the past. Forgive me for asking, Twilight spoke, but what happened? Posey was about to continue when Fluttershy rose from her chair. Everyone, I don't want to talk about this anymore, Teen said, distraught look on her face. Sweetheart, you can't still keep hiding from your father, Posey told her daughter. You may want to deny it, but he still loves you. He still loves all of us. You never told me that you're still married to him, Fluttershy accused. You never told me anything. Dear other fics following Fluttershy, and also, once again, Evening Sonata, this is how you do it. Oh look, you're adding other characterizations. This is believable! It was to protect your father, Posey answered, looking down at the table. You don't remember, do you? Your father had neglected his career, and the record company was about to drop him. Furthermore, we were being hounded by paparazzi who wanted to prove your father had turned his back on his fans. They weren't doing it just for the money. They were actually out to hurt him and us. Posey looked away. So he and I made an agreement. An agreement? Sonata asked. Posey nodded. We would live separately. We moved from Orange County up here to Carolot, where I was from, and he bought the house we live in. At the same time, he sold the place we were all living in and bought a higher profile one in Malibu, so he could throw meaningless parties to keep up his image, just to keep the press hounds off of us. Mom, you mean to move up here? I was born here, lived my whole life here, Fluttershy countered. But the doctor shook her head. Sweetheart, have you actually looked at your birth certificate? You were born at the UCI Medical Center in Irving, sweetie. We lived in Corona del Mar until you were 9. But I attended Miss Cuddlebutt's kindergarten class, and we lived in the same house practically since I first learned to walk. Fluttershy, you attended Miss Fluffy Kitten's art kindergarten class at the private school we sent you. And the fact that those two teachers were identical twins was one of the weirdest things I've found out since we lived here. Hell, your father and I made sure our current house looked like the old one. We even kept the recliner you used to sit in with your father. You used to fall asleep in his lap all the time, she said, tears of melancholy starting to swell in her eyes. Fluttershy, I love your father. He's been the only man in my life. Despite what you read in the news, he loves only me. But it's hurt him to be away from you two. He wants you back in his life, Fluttershy. He wants us to be a family again, and he doesn't care if it costs him. The chiffon-haired teen folded her arms. I wish I could believe that. He's had years to do so, but he never did. She then took a look to Fluttershy, a look of pleading in her eyes. Do you mind if I stay over at your place tonight? I need time to think. Not at all. Of course you're welcome over, Fluttershy, dear. Rarity replied. Dusty sounded nervous. She felt that she was stepping in a situation she shouldn't be involved in, but couldn't turn down a friend in need. Let's go. Without waiting for anything else, or even saying goodbye to her mother, she picked up her purse and walked out the pizza place. Posey took the hit immediately. Rarity, please take care of her. This isn't... Posey broke down in tears and Octavia moved to her side instantly. We'll take care of this, Dorian to hear Carol told her friend. You deal with Flutter's. I'll go with her, Twilight offered. You two take care of Dr. Posey. We'll see to Fluttershy. I think our pair goes well, Adacio suggested. With that, all three girls departed the pizza place. Meanwhile, Octavia looked over at Posey and asked, What can we do, Doctor? I know I'm to blame for all this coming out, and I want to make amends. But the Flutters and you. She told me it wasn't necessary, but... Posey looked up at the two girls with tear-stained eyes. Just, please, help my daughter. She doesn't understand what's going on. Let's be right to her feelings. Neither my husband or I have handled this well in hindsight. We just want best for our children. Fluttershy will be an adult soon and on her own. And I want her and her father to make up before she heads off to college. If not, they may never do so. She took Octavia's hands in hers and pled, Please, for my family's sake, I need your help. Fluttershy needs your help. We'll do everything we can, Doctor. I promise you, and I mean to keep that vow. Octavia said. Sunset added, Fluttershy's our friend. If we won't leave her hanging. Will you be okay? The doctor nodded. I'm a big girl, Sunset. I've been through much worse. And I appreciate the concern. Go ahead and get going. I'll take care of everything here. 6 weeks ago. You know, even after all this, I still have a hard time believing your father is Discord. Arya told Fluttershy as they all waited at the terminal at Napa Airfield, waiting for the charter flight that would take them home. I suppose it is, but as you know, it's true, Fluttershy told her friend. It's been tough, but I can't deny that. And now that I know the truth about my parents, hopefully things will be better. She looked at Adacio. But did you have to hit Rose and P? Well, excuse me for reacting. Adacio now apologized. I go into your room to read you the riot act, and P is there, naked as a deal bird, and you look like you've been slugged, and Rose is yelling at you. Sorry, but I protect my friends. P was what? You did what to Rose? Rainbow retorted at the same time. It was a misunderstanding, okay? We got cleared up. We were trying to help Flyers and didn't think our cunning plan all the way through, Rose admitted. You were being extra stupid about it, Adacio reminded her. Daddy, you know I used to do for a living. Sorry, I'm still limited in scope when it comes to planning, Sleepy muttered. At this point, Rainbow stepped in. You owe me a better explanation than that, Dazzle. Rose is a close friend of the family. Fluttershy, is it? Rainbow easily realized what she's saying. Yeah, okay, I sound like an idiot. Would it be the first time, Rainbow? Arya cracked. So, you're not coming with us, Flares? Sanaa asked, trying to change the subject. Fluttershy shook her head. I actually took the following week off as well. So Dad asked if I could come with him to his tour dates in Sacramento. And then the tour bus should be able to drop me off home while he's on the way to finish up the rest of his tour. Sounds like you have a lot of catching up to do, Twilight commented. Yeah, but it'll be worth it. Fluttershy hugged her friends and thanked her for everything. Not sure what else she could say. I don't deserve to have friends as good as you all. We'll send a bill for services, Rose cried as Sweet Pea laughed. Guess that means you're moving to LA? Piggy asked sadly. Her hair started to deflate. That's where your dad lives, right? Ha! As if. Discord said, walking up to them all, posing an angel in tow. He was dressed in a polo shirt, slacks again, very much what was expected of him. And somewhat he realized, actually, we're keeping the Malibu place as a vacation home. We actually own undeveloped land in San Palemo, something Golden Oaks. Wait, you own that undeveloped plot at the end of the street? Twilight asked. That means that Fluttershy will be leaving the street from us. Not immediately, Posey explained. We still have to build a home there, and that's going to take a bit. Actually, we'll be renting out the penthouse in Marriott Renaissance Retreat downtown. And since we still have ownership of the house we're currently living in, Fluttershy could use that as an address so she doesn't have to change schools if she wants to stay at CHS. I do, Forsyth said, putting her arms around Rainbow and Sunset. I wouldn't want to leave my life just because everything's changed. Are you sure? Now that people know who you are, it's going to be a lot more difficult to hide from the paparazzi. Forsyth beamed as she gestured to her friends. I think I'll have enough help with that. And just like that, look, these are the only jokes I've got. I love this too much. So, I was thinking we could all go to the Modesto for the end of the year vacation, not only to celebrate the end of summer, but to celebrate both Twilight and Triples' birthdays, as well as studying Sadasa at the end of August. Pinky chirped. We'll make this a blast to remember forever! Yeah, you girls had to go be born a week away from each other, didn't you? Forsyth gently teased. Technically, we don't know when we were born, Adacia told her. Our birth certificates are actually marked with the day we were found. Hell, to be honest, we don't even know our birth order. That's based on when we were given our names. Yeah, just think about it. Sunny could actually be the oldest of us, Arya said with a grin. Wouldn't that be horrifying? But I like being the baby, Sanaa responded with a mock pout. Well, for depending on all our calendars, the best time to do it would be just after Twilight's birthday, Octavia suggested. What do you think, Twilight? The answer to that was silence, as Twilight sat sucking in the colder. Dacia got her from the seat. Well, I'll just stay and chat, but I promised Bonnie I would go spar with her today. You come for coming with, AJ? Yeah, we don't mind sleeping by my place so I can get my gear, Applejack said. Not at all. So go to the air. See you guys later. Well, I don't know about the rest of you, but it looks like work is picking up again, Sunset said. I gotta get back to work. We can help, Sanaa and Pinky said. Aren't you two off the clock today? Besides, if necessary, I could call Pepper Dance and Garden Variety. If they're not already scheduled to work at the other store. Sanaa looked at the clock. Oh, besides, I think Tracy wanted me to come over and see if I can fix her PS4 controllers. Apparently Lyra's been throwing them against the wall once he loses. Needs to be some support sport in PvP, Pinky added. Well, far be it from me to stop you from doing that. You two go on ahead and have a fun day off. Well, Pinky and Sanaa left Sugar Cube Corner and head towards Sanaa's car. Pinky, you gotta tell her. Pinky uncharacteristically frowned. Shouldn't have told you. Pinky, the last sleepover we had, I got you nearly kissing Sunny while she was asleep. It was fairly obvious. Yeah, suppose it was. Look, are your aunt and uncle supposed to be being gay or something? Well, for starters, I'm bi, not gay. I had a boyfriend last year and the relationship ended badly. And I'd rather not talk about him right now, if you don't mind. She sighed. Sis, look, I'll tell Sunny when I have the chance. I just had a moment of weakness. No, you had a moment of desire, girl. Sanaa says they head towards Trixie's house. Last time I checked, it was all just part of being human. Wait, because of your cousin? Pinky sighed. That's part of the problem.